Do you want to know if conversion crimes really is a way to potentially earn up to $400 per hour doing user tests as it claims on its website, or if it's a waste of time? Then this video is for you. My name is Michael and many viewers have asked me about this platform, so I decided to take a closer look and test it, and in this conversion crimes review I will show you all the pros and the cons, and then you can figure out yourself whether this is the right opportunity for you or not. So let's start by going over who can join conversion crimes, and this is a user testing platform, so you'll participate in user test and you can join from many different countries. I have not been able to find any information about any limitations like that, so you should be able to join from basically all countries. Just be aware that how many user tests you can get access to will likely vary depending on the country you live in. And as you can see on the website, it claims it can be up to $400 per hour for participating. So that of course sounds very promising compared to many other user tests, but let's look into the earning potential a little bit later. For now, let's start by going over how to join and what you need to do to get started earning here. So I have created a new account here on Conversion Crime to show you how it looks from scratch, and this is what you get to when you just first join. What you need to be aware of is that in the joining process you need to fill out some different information. It doesn't take too long, but at the end you also need to write a small bio about yourself, and it can be good to take at least a few minutes to write something properly, because it can help you to potentially qualify for more tests, because the companies that need these tests, they need to know who's doing them, so they so they're sure that it's relevant people that are doing them. Also, you can share some links to some social media, but it's not necessary. However, when you join also, you need to choose whether you want to participate in B2B or B2C user tests. So business to business or business to consumer or both. And business to consumer or B2C, that means like that can be basically anyone. If you're a consumer, you can do those. If it's B2B, that means that it's professional services. It will often be about some kind of professional services, or it can be about software that is used for professional use there. But just be aware that cannot be changed later, so you need to carefully consider what is relevant for you, and don't choose just both just to get access to more if you actually cannot live up to the business to business one, because if you choose that one, you do need to share your LinkedIn profile link, and if you don't have a LinkedIn that verify that you qualify for that, then you might end up not getting access at all. So that's just a little extra thing you need to be aware of in the whole joining process. So once you have joined, let's now then talk about what you need to do to get access to the paid tasks. So after you join, you need to first take an unpaid test here, a sample study, and this gives you a good idea about how everything works, and they can see if you qualify for this, because what you need to do in most tests, that can vary depending on the user test, but often it is that you need to record your screen and then you will need to speak out your thoughts. So you get some kind of task like check this and this and this, and then you need to record while you're saying like, oh, I'm doing this and this, I'm thinking that and that, so they get real feedback about the consumers or the businesses, depending on what you chose, experiences with the specific software, app, website, or whatever it is. So they will test that, and you need to do this, and you will not get paid for that, and that's just something to be aware of, and that can take up to 15 minutes. You also need to put in some time to actually join. Then they have these qualifications, which is basically just what most other sites call like profile studies, where they want to learn more about you and your habits and all that, and all this will help them figure out who you are and which studies you potentially qualify for and which one they can invite you to participate in. So all this is something you need to be willing to do when you first join, and then after that you will get access to the paid tasks. And let's now then talk about how much you potentially can earn, and then we'll talk about the payout options also. So when it comes to the earning potential, of course it depends on the task itself, and you will get paid per task, and you will always be able to see in the invitation how much you will give and approximately how long it takes. And that time estimate is fairly accurate. Sometimes it might be a little bit less time it takes, sometimes a little bit more, but overall it is fairly accurate. But as you can see on the front page, I showed you that earlier also, it says that you will receive $10 to $100 depending on the number of questions and criteria per task. And that will be the equivalent of up to $60 to $400 per hour. So that of course sounds very promising. But what you need to be aware of is that the highest paying options are only for these B2B, so the business user test. You will not be able to earn this much with the consumer user test. That's very important to be aware of. In fact, in the joining process also they say that these B2B tests, they can pay up to $100 per test, and that could potentially, if you calculate an hourly rate, be the same as $400 per hour. And the B2C test, they usually pay up to $20, so quite a lot lower. So that's what you need to be aware of, that you cannot earn up to $100 if you're just participating in the consumer tests. And if you then jump to the FAQ section, you can see they write something a little bit different. Here they say that it ranges from $10 to $60 per hour, and the average is around $28 per hour. That's a little bit different than what they wrote on the website and in the joining process, but this is in the FAQ section. But from what I can see, yes, you should in general expect maybe around like $10 to $20 per test you do, and it usually takes somewhere between 15-20 minutes or so. So that's the more realistic pay range you should expect. But be aware that in general, this whole thing about talking about an hourly rate when it comes to tasks like this, like user test, for me personally, I don't think that makes sense, because you cannot say I want to do this for 5 hours. You might get one test today, then maybe one next week, maybe it will be a month before you get another one. So for me, it doesn't really make much sense to talk about an hourly rate. I just want to know how much I get per task, and they also do explain that here. So even though it at the front page looks like you can earn maybe $400 per hour, just be aware that doesn't mean you can just work as many hours you want, and just be aware that it would be very rare that you would get tests that would give you that high rewards. But let's also talk about how you can then get paid when you earn. Payouts, they are sent out every Monday via PayPal. So PayPal is the payout option. So there's not as such a payout threshold you need to reach to be able to get paid. I definitely do like that. And also they just process it automatically. That's kind of convenient, because that means once it's set up, you just do some tests or so, and then you'll get paid automatically the following Monday. So the payout system I do like. Of course, personally, I do think it's great when platforms give you a couple of payout options at least, so you have something to choose from. But that's just how it is. If you want to use Conversion Crimes, at least at the time of recording this video, then you need to have a verified PayPal account. So to sum it all up, Conversion Crimes can be a way to earn decent money by participating in user tests. It doesn't really offer anything particularly that other user tests does not, and the rewards seem very promising at first when you look at the website, but they are kind of also average compared to many others. I have tested many user testing platforms, and I think it's a decent one. User tests in general can be fun to participate in my opinion, so definitely can be a way to earn some extra money. I do think that when it comes to user tests, if that's a way you want to earn, you should make sure to always join several different platforms, because usually you will not get that many user tests. So I also do have a list of the best user testing platforms on my website. I will leave a link to that below. I also do have a written review of Conversion Crimes. If you prefer just seeing a little bit more in writing, I'll also leave a link to that below. And if you just prefer doing small, easy surveys instead of participating in user tests, I do have a list of the best paid survey sites in many different countries. I will also leave a link to that below. So no matter your preferences, you can find more information there. And also, if this video helped you, make sure to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.